Back in the weather office, checking out recon data coming in. A Hurricane Hunter plane in there now, and kind of confirming that the pressure is dropping. We're going to undergo rapid intensification in the next 12, 18 hours. And when you see the satellite presentation tomorrow, there should be a well-defined eye, and the storm is going to have a look to it that it's going to make you step back and say, wow, that's something. And that is going to be moving in our general direction. As always, the storm is still out there a ways. It's got a ways to go. There will be track adjustments and intensity forecasts. There are still some differences in the track, and some of the models even indicate slight weakening because of shear and dry air intrusion before landfall. But the big picture remains a powerful hurricane heading for our west coast, and as we get a little closer, we'll start talking about specific impacts to your house, how much storm surge we'll get. Got a Cat 1 now. Just again, recon has the pressure lower. This is the track. Stick with us. Got a new track update coming up at 11 o'clock. We made a big point about this. Again, with Helene, which went west of us 110 miles, we all had that south and southeast wind with the water pushing this way, causing widespread storm surge. This is different. There will be storm surge along the west coast, but because of the motion of the storm and the circulation around the storm, we'll say the center point verifies. South of it, the winds go this way and the water piles up. But north of it, and we've seen this many times with Tampa Bay emptying out because of an east wind, the water is pushed away from the coastline. The question is, where is that going to happen? And we don't know that yet. We're going to really pay attention to the landfall point. And as I said at the top of the news, Hurricane Center is not going to be able to just draw that line 2 days out. So there's going to be widespread high surge numbers along our west coast, but the highest surge will be point of landfall south. We talk a lot about the surge because over 90% of all deaths from tropical systems are from water, not from the wind. There will be some shear and some dry air as the storm approaches our west coast. That may help a little bit, but if the storm weakens, typically the wind field expands, and it's still going to bring with it a big surge of water and a big, obviously, storm surge. Tropical downpours off and on next couple of days in advance of the storm, and then the rain will increase as the storm approaches Tuesday night into Wednesday. Even right now, got some rain outside and 72 degrees. Nash.
Yeah, we've seen that temperature continue to drop, Paul, as many of those showers are extending far ahead of Milton with a separate system, as there are really two spots that we're tracking, Milton being the headliner and the one that we're going to pay the most attention to. But because we're already seeing these showers, there's a weak area of low pressure just off our shoreline. I want to show you radar right now, if we can pull that up to give you an idea of just the blanket of rain associated with this system. This is going to be crossing over the peninsula over the next day or two ahead of Milton, and that's why we have a flood watch in effect for much of central, southwest, and really all of South Florida. More of that rain streaming into Sarasota County there, where they've already seen over an inch of radar estimated rainfall just today. And over the next 2 to 3 days, the totals are going to be fairly staggering. Many spots over 4 inches of rainfall, and the latest flood watch saying that through Thursday morning, many locations could see over 5 inches of rain, closing in on 10 inches. To put this all in perspective, the rain is something that we feel is going to be felt by many people. It's not necessarily a localized impact. It'll be as widespread as the tropical storm force winds and perhaps even some of the hurricane force winds expected by this system. I did mention, though, that this comes in 2 parts. The deep tropical moisture that is still pooling here in the Gulf of Mexico is what's fueling all the rain you're seeing right now. That area of low pressure I'm talking about just starting to push across the peninsula. And then there's Milton, which is now expected to make landfall likely on the second half of Wednesday. I mentioned that low pressure area that's first going to swing through. If you look carefully, you can see that spin there just off the shoreline, and all that rain getting churned up because of it. That's going to continue to be the case for, again, the next 2 to 3 days, and we're not going to see this rain really let up until we get into the middle to end of Thursday, when the last bit of this pushes off to the east side of the state. The rainfall estimates over the next 3 days are pretty much the highest I've ever seen within our system here, at least within the last several months. Tampa, Daytona Beach, Jacksonville, all south of spots that are going to only just see some light to steady rainfall, and locally we could see over 3, 4, perhaps even 5 inches of rain in just the next 3 days. Those totals continuing to climb and very dependent on where this system eventually tracks. I want to show you the next 5 days of rainfall to put this in perspective. A lot of those totals rolling through Wednesday into Thursday, and these dark reds and pinks here on the screen indicating where the highest totals would be. Those could slide south if this system were to make landfall a little bit farther to the south. They could slide north depending on exactly where this pushes onshore. The forecast model plots are still trying to come to more of a consensus or more agreement as to where that landfall would be. The latest plots for Milton are in, and you can see even compared to yesterday, they're very spread out across all of West Florida. The only thing that they agree on is a potential, or at this point, a very likely landfall along the west coast of the Florida Peninsula toward the second half of Wednesday, and your 7-day forecast reflects that. So expect rain leading up to that day. Wednesday, we're going to see those very strong winds, additionally widespread showers and storms. Thursday, the rain begins to let up in the morning, and then finally on Friday, we ease up those thunderstorms, those gusty winds, and start to let some good weather in for a change. We just have to get through the middle of this week. Milton's forecast track really changes the ideas that we have in terms of the impacts that we'll see here locally. We'll continue to hone in on those as that accuracy improves. But for now, the 7-day forecast on your screen. We'll be right back.